Hey, basketball fans, this is why you subscribe to us here at Chat Sports, because we bring you the latest NBA news, rumors, especially breaking news like when Kawhi Leonard re-signs with the LA Clippers, getting this video out ASAP. So subscribe, hit that big red button, never miss a video here on Chat Sports. You're watching NBA Now. Chase Sr., Harrison Graham with you here on Chat Sports. And hey, it finally happened, Chase. Kawhi Leonard re-signing with the LA Clippers. We're getting this to you guys ASAP, so we'll see what the contract details end up being. But obviously, Chase, the Clippers get their man back in Kawhi.
Yeah, the number one free agent still out there, and by a wide margin. Kawhi Leonard is a generational player, a two-time NBA Finals MVP, a two-time champion, and an elite two-way player. I wasn't sure how things were going to be affected by that partially torn ACL. We'll see what the dollar figure is per year and how long the contract is. But Kawhi Leonard, certainly one of the best playmakers that we've seen at the NBA level over the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Clippers make the conference finals last year. If Kawhi doesn't go down, maybe that's the team who ends up winning it all and not the Milwaukee Bucks. But you bring up a good point, which we'll get to in a minute when it comes to the injury stuff. For me, though, hey, this is 2 out of 3 years, Kawhi. You've dragged this thing out, which, you know, it's been fun going live throughout NBA free agency, but it was about time, Kawhi. It's about time that you put the ink on the paper, that you're back with the LA Clippers. I want to talk more about the injury stuff with this in just a few moments, Chase, but first, let's let the audience answer this one. What is your one-word reaction to Kawhi re-signing with the LA Clippers? Get your votes in right now in the comments section. Now, your one word, Chase, is expected.
Expected. I thought Kawhi Leonard was going to go back to Los Angeles. When you read the tea leaves and you look at some of the reports coming from some of the best NBA reporters out there, all of them go in line with this. Kawhi Leonard was expected to go back to the Clippers because of the momentum that they were able to build last year, although he was open to listening to some other teams out there in free agency. But I had Kawhi going back to the Clippers the entire time because I just think that's the smartest move. Ty Lue, a top 5 coach. Paul George, a very competent number 2 player. I do have some concerns about the injuries moving forward, which we'll discuss here in just a bit. But you look at what Kawhi Leonard did last year, Harrison, and he was fantastic, especially in the playoffs. I thought at one point it was really the Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant show in the playoffs. Those two, by far and away, the top 2 players in the big dance. And this is a guy who not only this past year averaged around 25 points per game, I still think he's going to be able to average that figure over the next several seasons coming off that partially torn ACL. What I really like about him, it's just his two-way game, and also he can get his shot anywhere on the floor at any time, and you can really count on him down the stretch in some crucial playoff games because this guy is always a flatliner. He is never too emotional. He kind of carries himself like an alien, and when the pressure is on, that really works to his favor.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the big question is, will he return next year?
Yeah.
Will he sit out the entire season a la Kevin Durant with the torn Achilles a couple of years ago where he just opted to miss the entire season? We'll have to wait and see, but the Clippers had no choice. They had to bring back Kawhi Leonard if they wanted to be a contender moving forward. Subscribe to us at Chat Sports. We'll continue to bring you the latest news and rumors throughout free agency. It certainly will slow down a bit now that Kawhi has signed, but still some names out there, still some videos to break down for you guys. So hit that big red button, share that link below with a friend. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. A couple of guys that the Clippers brought back, which should keep them in contention, Chase, obviously Kawhi, but you bring back a guy like Reggie Jackson, who shot 43% from three-point range last year.
And he was excellent in the playoffs when Kawhi was healthy and when Kawhi wasn't healthy.
Yep.
When Kawhi went out of the lineup, Reggie Jackson and Paul George were really carrying the offensive load for the Clippers, and they turned to Reggie Jackson to really manufacture a lot of offense and get some buckets. And to get him around $11 million per season, that's $2 million less than a guy like Kelly Oubre. I'd rather have Reggie Jackson than Kelly Oubre, if we're being honest here.
I agree. Yeah, and you get Nick Batum back, who kind of saved his career last year in LA, hit some big threes, shot 40%, a good defender still. We saw
saved France in the Olympics.
Yeah, saw
My
that
goodness.
epic block he had in the Olympic semifinal game against Slovenia. So he's still a versatile player. You bring him back as well. I like the re-additions, if you will, of Batum and Jackson. But obviously bringing back Kawhi is the focus, and it's what makes this team go and makes them one of the top contending teams in the NBA. We'll just have to wait and see if the Clippers can get back to the conference finals, maybe even an NBA finals moving forward. So what do you guys think? And we'll talk about this for a second as well. Are the Clippers title contenders? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get your votes in on this one. Can the Clippers compete for an NBA championship? Let us know what you guys think. Chase, do you think that the Clippers can win a championship this season?
Yeah, I think they're top 10 in the NBA, and with that, let's take a look at my top 5 squads going into next season. The Clippers not yet on this list because we don't know when Kawhi Leonard is going to come back next year.
Yeah.
I think the best case scenario, he's very conservative and safe with his health. I'm thinking maybe April. I'm targeting that kind of timeline, but the Nets, everything that they've done in free agency as well as the draft, I like it. They have KD, Kyrie, and Harden still on the roster. What were you going to say?
And remember, NBA back on their regular calendar.
Yes.
So it's not like, it's a normal length offseason. For the second offseason in a row, less time. So that hurts Kawhi's chances of returning this year as well.
Yeah, so I have the Nets atop my list, and I understand the Lakers are a very old team, but I think they're more talented and a little bit deeper than the Clippers. The Bucks, they just won the NBA title. I got to put them in at number 3. The Phoenix Suns were the runner-ups. I have them in at 4. And slightly above the Clippers, I do have the Heat at number 5. Now, with the Kawhi injuries, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. This goes all the way back to San Antonio. Load management a lot in Toronto, and he's been banged up with the Clippers. So I do worry about Kawhi a little bit as he progresses in age, but we'll just see.
Yeah, I actually have the same 5 teams as you, although I think there are a lot of other worthy teams. I think the Clippers, if Kawhi returns for the playoffs, should be in there. The Jazz, the Nuggets, I think are a couple more teams that could be in the mix as well. If Damian Lillard gets traded to a team like Philadelphia, Chase, I think that would change things dramatically for them. But I had a flip-flop at the top here. I'm going to go Lakers 1. I just like their depth more. I think the big 3 of Brooklyn, of Kyrie, KD, and Durant is better than Westbrook, LeBron, and AD. But I think the depth of the Lakers is a little bit stronger, so I'll give the edge to LA there. Brooklyn right behind them at 2. I still think they'll be very good and probably the favorites in the East, although we got to put respect on Giannis's name. Milwaukee didn't do a ton this offseason. They lose P.J. Tucker, did trade for Grayson Allen on Friday. I think that helps a little bit with your bench scoring there, but you're going to miss Tucker's defense.
You lost Bryn Forbes, too.
And by the way, Miami picked up Tucker, and that was like the 4th best move they made.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry. They also re-signed Duncan Robinson. They get some other pieces as well. Love what the Heat have done. And then Phoenix in there at 5. Was it a little too magical this year for them? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, a lot of that there hinges, Chase, on can Chris Paul replicate what he did last year as he's another year older. So those are my top 5 in terms of contending squads this year. But, again, I think the Jazz are a worthy team if they can stay healthy. They brought back Mike Conley. I think Denver, can Jamal Murray return for the playoffs
the Warriors
next year?
In that equation?
Golden State, I still think they
Chicago
could,
Bulls,
they could be
Sixers.
in the mix. Yeah. I mean, I think it really goes about 8 to 10 deep this year.
I agree.
With certainly the top 2 or 3 is kind of the teams that really stand out here, Chase.
No, I totally agree. I think no matter which order you have those teams in, I'm liking the makeup of the Lakers, Nets, and Bucks as the top 3 teams going into next season as of right now.
So what do you guys think? Who will be the 2022 NBA champions? Get your votes in right now down in the comments. Kawhi Leonard is back in LA. Subscribe because we break down all of the latest NBA news and rumors here on Chat Sports.